So you were saying that you were researching a doctoral thesis?
It should have been. No, it was a master's thesis.
So you were doing it, okay, so you were doing a master's thesis and you found the cure drive when you were searching the web for groups that were working on multiple sclerosis.
Yes, I was looking for groups that I could possibly contact.
Right.
To see, to do my survey, because I actually created a questionnaire, and it was a really long questionnaire. But I had a list of therapies that I had studied, and I put them in a questionnaire to see what people were doing to not necessarily cure. I was just looking to alleviate their symptoms.
And did you find anybody in our group that had alleviated their symptoms?
What I did was I didn't do the questionnaire myself. The person would go to the website and they would answer the questions, and then I collect the data. So it was pretty much anonymous.
So did you find anybody, so did you ever speak to anybody in our group?
No.
Oh, I see, okay. And so how did you know that you could cure your MS with Immunics?
I kept investigating for myself.
And how did you go about investigating it? What did you do?
Well, I am always interested when I see the word cure, so I kept looking around, and then I ran across the cure drive, and I just started looking at the videos.
So you were watching the videos, and,
yes.
And is that where you realized that you could cure your MS, when you were watching the videos?
Oh, I've always believed that I could cure my MS.
But I mean,
that wasn't a question.
But I mean with Immunics.
Yes.
Now, what was it in the video that you saw that made you know that?
People who were actually getting their fingers to move, and they were saying that they were removing things, curing things.
Right.
And so I said, well, why can't I cure MS with this?
But I mean, how did you know they weren't just saying affirmations or deluding themselves or praying or hoping, or, I mean, what made you think they were actually curing it?
I just kept looking and observing what people were doing, and I just started doing stuff myself. And I found that I was not getting sick, because normally I get colds and flu during the year.
Yes, right.
And yeah, and especially when I'm stressed out, if I'm coming down from a big stressful event, or the stress goes way too long, then I'll get sick. And so I just said, let me try this and see what happens. And so I did, and I haven't gotten sick ever since. No cold, no flu, and I should have definitely gotten the flu, especially after I finished my thesis.
So you mean you didn't actually ever even have to cure a flu, it just didn't come?
Correct.
You know, that was my experience too. After I cured my herpes in July of 1993, and the last flu I ever had was sometime around, actually before I discovered Immunics. It was probably March of that year I had a flu.
Okay.
And I used to have about 3 a year, 4 a year, and I never got another one. I have not had one since. Haven't had a cold or a flu since then.
Yeah, I haven't either. And people have been coughing around me and hacking, and I just look at them and say, I don't accept that. You keep it.
So aren't we something, you know? We're immuners. We don't get sick.
That's right. And that's what I told them. I said, you don't have to accept the virus if you don't want it, and I can teach you how. But I think people are afraid.
No, you know what it is? What I've noticed is that it helps to show people other people than me. And if you have a smartphone, like, you can just turn a movie on and show the other people and show people the college. And I think it makes it a lot less scary when they see that than if you're just somebody they meet in a diner or something, you know, and you're telling them they can cure the flu. You know, so it's hanging out in a bar, you know, and you're telling them you can cure cancer, you know.
Well, I even tell friends and coworkers when I was working, and they tried to skirt around the issue. I guess they prefer the virus to curing it.
Right. That's right. You can, you know, also some people will accept it and some people won't. And what you have to do is just tell everybody, and then the people who will accept it will. And sometimes when the people who wouldn't see more people accepting it, then they will.
Yeah.
So, you know, you just tell everybody, and, you know, the ones that are the lead dogs will emerge.
Yeah.
The fast runners will be out front, you know.
I just keep reminding them that they're sick and I'm not.
I think that's very good. You got to get them mad at you, you know. You just got to get them angry. That's what works.
I agree.
Make them hate you, you know. Well, now, so how do you know you still have MS?
I still have symptoms, and I still have periods of negative beingness.
Oh, I see.
And I know that's associated with MS.
And what are your symptoms that you still have?
Difficulty walking. I walk with a cane.
Okay.
I don't have fatigue. I haven't had fatigue in years. So I got rid of that somehow. Don't know how.
Okay, so you've taken out some of the MS symptoms.
Yes.
But you still have others, and also, you know, your difficulty walking can have a lot of causes. Even if you may have cured your MS 6 months ago, but you may have 10 other things causing you to have difficulty walking. Like, for example, a vitamin D deficiency could cause difficulty walking. And maybe MS uses up vitamins E and D, so you might have just been depleted by the disease over the years. You know, the list is endless. I mean, you know it. You're a nutritionist,
Right.
So you know this stuff. It's just, even though I know a lot about nutrition too. I didn't study it formally like you did, but I know a lot about it, and I certainly apply it. But I don't always apply it when I need to. And I have had problems with deficiencies all down through the years, just many, many problems. And I've corrected them and felt the good effects of correcting them, so that's how that goes, you know.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's a vitamin D deficiency, because I got to a level where my doctor actually wanted me to stop taking vitamin D supplements.
Yeah.
And because she thought it was too high.
Right.
But through my research, it wasn't too high, because people who didn't take supplements but were in that sun belt near the equator had twice as much vitamin D levels as I did. So I wasn't worried about it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Now that you're one of us and you test things for yourself, you must never, ever let a doctor make decisions for you about anything, including medication. Nothing.
I never do.
You have to be, okay, good. So you just have to be in complete control. And it's okay to use doctors, you know, they can advise you and diagnose you and stuff. And sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. But you're the one who needs to be right 100% of the time. They don't.
Yes.
You know, because if they're wrong sometimes, they're the first to admit that they're wrong sometimes, but it's your body that they're wrong about, so you can't afford to be wrong.
Well, I usually, when I talk to a doctor, I usually tell them what I'm studying and what I believe, where I'm coming from. So they already understand that I'm not thrilled about medications and I'm not interested unless I think it's really going to help me, but it is my decision. So they treat me a little differently after I explain that to them.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good. It's good to start out on the right foot with people. And with high integrity and honesty.
Yes.
Really helps, you know.
I wasn't always that way, but I learned.
Oh, good, good. Well, I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear it, you know. So, let's see. You've been doing this 9 months and you have a lot of experience with things, and you've really used the web college to help yourself. It's a very laudable. Now let's get into some of these lessons. I'm going to, right here, I'm on the safety web lesson.
Okay.
And this is, you were saying you got a lot of value out of this.
Yes.
What would you, now see, what people need to realize when I say this is a lesson, the safety web has all these lessons in it. The safety web is called a skill. We have 12 skills, and the safety web has things like lessons on hope. By the way, you know hope is dysfunctional, right?
Yes.
Okay. Interference, opponents, precursors, right choices, and so on. You know, there was an ad for cancer, and they were saying, like, we can live without our hair, and they can cut our breasts off, but we can't live without hope, you know. And I was thinking,
oh
boy, that's the one thing they don't need is hope. You know, that's what keeps them enslaved, is that hope, that unreal hope.
Right.
You know, and then I was thinking about Murphy's Law of, are you familiar with Murphy's Law, by the way?
What can go wrong will go wrong?
Yeah, well, there's a Murphy has a whole set of laws about medical science. And Murphy's third law of medical science says that medical science will find a cure for your disease 6 months after your funeral.
Oh, I believe that.
So, okay. So now, are there any of these lessons in the safety web that you haven't done? Let me see what you get a signal on. I'm going to read off the names of some of them. Action, activity, access. See, and if you get a test, it means you need to do that one.
Okay.
So action, activity, access. Bad feeling, how about?
What's the second one?
Bad feeling.
Yes.
Okay, so later you'll go in here and you'll look at that lesson. But you know, I have to say that particular lesson is actually based on something in Star Wars. Remember, I got a bad feeling about this?
In Star Wars?
Yeah, remember where he says, I got a bad feeling about this?
Who, Luke?
No, Han Solo. The idea.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Yeah, see, the idea, you want to pay attention to that bad feeling when you get one and start asking questions and testing them. That's the point of that lesson. But I don't know what's in the lesson anymore, so I'm going to leave you to do that and just go on. How about gauging the presence or absence of the safety web? How's that? Is that a good one for you now?
I don't get a signal on that.
Or how about right choices?
I get a signal on that one.
Okay, so there are some lessons in here for you to do, and you've already done some of them, and you may have done some of the ones that I read out.
And I just need to go back and do them again.
Yeah, maybe you even, that's right, maybe you even did some of the ones that you got a signal on.
I would say yes, that's true.
Yeah, so that's how this goes, you know, that you do a lesson, you get a lot out of it, and then you do it again, and you, like, it feels like you never did it, you know, you go like, wow, how did I miss this?
There's so much on there.
Yeah, well, also, you're doing them from a different place. You know, you're doing these lessons from a different place now than you did 6 months ago. You're in a different place.
That's true.
I want you to test some of these questions about the safety web. Have I ever been harmed by my own ability to access beyond a certain level? Let's see, there.
Yes.
Yes, you get yes?
Yes.
Okay. That has been true for me, too. That, you know, sometimes when we access things, we really need to ask more questions. Now, how about in other lifetimes?
I don't get a signal there.
Okay. Well, maybe you just started accessing in this lifetime. Does testing protect me from harm due to my inability to access information or get signals beyond a certain level?
Yes. I got a strong yes on that one.
Okay. Well, then, that's something to really look at, because what it really means is that you have to just ask a lot more questions, because there are certain things that you can't access. So you have, we call it testing around the thing.
Okay.
We have this kind of like jargon we talk, you know, and that's what we call, you test around it, and then you'll get more information about it. This is very important because, you know, you want to cure this MS, and this is our first time, like, I'm just trying to get into some of the basics with you, and so I'm not really like going after the MS. I'm more like just going after setting you up right, and, you know, also it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I figured I wouldn't be on that long. Like, we've been talking for 17 minutes, you know, and that's a, you know, decent amount of time, but we're going to go on a little more.
Okay.
Are there circumstances where the safety web protection is absent?
I don't get a signal there.
Okay, good. Are there states of mind where the safety web is absent?
I don't get a signal on that either.
Okay, good. So actually, you can test in confidence. You know, there is a safety web, and so when you're messing up, if you're sincere, see, that's the thing. It's like, why didn't I die from eating poison mushrooms? I used to go, when I first started doing this, I decided that I could test plants. And I went to the park and I started like testing berries to eat off trees and stuff.
Oh boy.
And then I was testing mushrooms, and there are these mushrooms that are in Wissahickon Park, which is where I was in Philadelphia, that are deadly. I mean, you know, they kill you in 36 hours, and there's no antidote. And there's a lot of different species. They're in the Amanita family, most of them. See, I know the names of mushrooms now, but at the time, I didn't know anything about mushrooms. And yet, when I would go up to them and test, I'd get that they were poisonous, and I didn't get them. And then I would test other mushrooms, and I found great mushrooms, you know? And I used to bring the mushrooms to this Japanese restaurant where I ate every night. and I would tell them, okay, make, you know, and they would prepare the mushrooms for me, you know, and sometimes some of them would, like Rue, the chef, he'd say, well, I'll make these, but I don't know if you're going to die from eating these things. He said, I don't know anything about mushrooms, you know. So, but I found some good ones, you know, I did. But yet I saw, I mean, I went out with some other people who were testing, and they got sick from eating a poison mushroom. But you know what? It was actually a good lesson for them, because they didn't eat a deadly mushroom. They just ate a poisonous mushroom that made them like really very ill.
Okay.
For the next day, and they were like throwing up all day and stuff. And there was something that they needed to learn from that. But I think I fell down in my duty, because I was supposed to be their teacher. But see, I didn't get sick. I ate the same stuff. And what happened was, in the middle of the night, I woke up and I was sick. I went outside and I threw everything up. And then I went, see, this is what they didn't do, okay? I went to the tincture bottles that this girl, you know, I was staying with these two women in Santa Fe, and they had a collection of tinctures in their kitchen. So I went to the tincture bottles, and I tested through the tincture bottles. I don't remember what I tested, but there were like 3 or 4 tinctures I tested to take, and I took them, went back to sleep, and when I woke up in the morning, I felt the best I'd ever felt in my life, and that was that was the end of the incident for me.
Oh.
And then they woke up and they were all vomiting and sick and angry and hurt, and they didn't want to test anymore. And I said to them, why don't you test for some tinctures and throw up that stuff? They didn't want to hear anything I had to say. So, see, what it is that I have been listening to God tell me this stuff, and I just don't walk away from God. And maybe they didn't have a master. Like, see, I've been with Meher Baba since I'm 15, and they didn't have a master to, you know, to tell them to, you know, to stick with God. But I really have stuck with God. And another time, I tested to drink the water in a stream, and I got giardia.
No.
You know, and I was like, had like this uncontrollable diarrhea. And I did the same thing. I tested a whole bunch of tinctures and cured it in 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, I was fine. I went and led my meeting, and I was fine after that. But I kept taking the tinctures for about another 6 days. Still, you know, a lesser person would have just said, oh, I can't test. You know, I tested to drink the water, and it made me sick, so I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna test anymore. You know, people quit doing this because of stuff like that. You know, and it made me stronger.
Well, I think what happens is people forget. So if they had a success, then they'll forget what the success was when something goes wrong.
Right. Well, you know, I realized when I drank that water, when I got sick from drinking that water, I just said God played a joke on me. You know, God, it's just that simple. God has a sense of humor. You know, I'm a dumb idiot for having tested that in the first place, and you know, I got what I deserved, and that was it. That was that. You know.
That's true. I could see that.
Now here's one that you said you got a lot from. It's the Accelerator.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to ask you some of these questions. This is the preview page.
Okay.
See? And I don't know if have you ever done the preview page for this?
I always do the preview pages because it says to do the preview pages before the lesson.
You're a smart person. You know, you're actually a consummate student, I guess. This is good. You know, a lot of these consummate students get so mired down in the bullshit of the, you know, the schools they go to that they don't realize they can cure anything, and they never do Immunics.
This is true.
But if they bring their studying skills to this, they do very well, you know, like you did. Okay, is speed a critical factor in ending disease? Test that.
don't know if that's a soft yes or a no. I got a little, it felt like a little something, but it wasn't strong.
Okay, well, test this. Can it ever be impossible to cure something without acting with, you know, a huge amount of speed?
I didn't get anything there.
Okay, so it's obviously it's always possible to cure things according to that test anyway, even if you is it ever possible to simply be too slow and fail to cure something?
Yes.
See, that's another way of asking that question. See, one thing again I would say again is change the question, ask it different ways, and you'll get probably all those answers are probably good. And if you put them all together, you get a good perspective on the accelerator.
Okay.
And also, these are not the questions on the accelerator page. These are questions that were inspired by the questions on the accelerator page.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, there's other questions on the accelerator page, and you ought to test those too. Here's a question. Can I slow down? Can I go slowly with curing my disease and still be safe?
I don't get an answer on that one. Or I get a no on that one, I should say.
Okay, so that's a no. Okay, so you really do have to, you got to hustle. Okay, good. And now, of course, we'll go to the accelerator. And the accelerator is a different kind of, it's a different kind of skill. And I'm just showing this to everybody because they, you know, you've done this, the accelerator. But the accelerator seems very short. But it's the skill that you spend the most time on. There are very few lessons in it. One of them is called Do Nothing, and another one is called Fatigues. Those are very important lessons. And then here's what most people use is the short form of the accelerator. Everybody should start with the long form and then use the short form. What did you get when you tested that?
No, I'm not. Like right now.
Now see, that's Greg and me doing a lesson on the accelerator, so there's a movie on this page.
Right.
And now, test this question, have I cured anything since I've been talking to Bayer? We'll just do an accelerator.
Yes.
Okay, more than one thing.
Yes.
Test and give me a number. Or just a number over which. Like you could do that too.
Okay. I get a 6.
Okay, so you've cured 6 things since we've been talking. Now, have you ever reported your cures in the cure poll?
No.
Well, that is where the tally comes from. It comes from you and people like you reporting your cures. So please report your cures, and when we get off the phone, report 6 cures in the cure poll, okay?
Okay.
All right. So now that we've done that, okay, so now you've cured some things, so does anything feel like it's gone? Like, is there a difference? What's missing? What's gone?
Well, I can say that normally I have a lot of agitation in my feet.
Yeah.
And it's quieter.
Okay. Good.
And I'm more relaxed. I was relaxed before, but I'm even more relaxed now.
Good, okay. So there's some tension is gone.
Yes.
What else? Can you see anything else or feel anything else that seems to be missing?
I feel clearer, more clear-headed.
Good. Anything else?
I can't think of anything else.
So like you're feeling around in yourself and you don't feel anything else that seems to be absent. Okay.
No, just the agitation in my feet is
Okay.
reduced.
That's probably an important symptom of MS, right?
Well, it depends on the person. MS, there's so many different symptoms, so many things come up.
Yeah, really.
So I get sores on my feet, and actually I have sores on my feet right now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an immune response down there for some reason, and the doctors don't know what it is. They call it vasculitis for lack of a better name.
Okay, have you ever like thought of checking, let's say, your gravitational body for vasculitis?
No, I've never thought of that.
Okay, you should be doing that. And can you feel your gravitational body?
I've actually used my gravitational body.
Okay, well, if you can feel it, then what you should do is scan through it and try to find the areas of your gravitational body that correspond with your feet in your physical body and look through those areas for anything that looks abnormal.
Okay.
Codes or, you know, anything that might be, you know, causing that. I'll tell you another story. I was having a course when I first started teaching this. It was years ago. This would be 1993 or maybe 4. And I had a bunch of people to my home in Philadelphia doing a course for 5 or 6 days. And we were just going into the course room for another section of the course, and one of the students came over to me and she said to me that she had been reading my gravitational body, and I had something in my gravitational body that was causing deterioration in my gums, in my mouth. And it was, and she put her finger, and she put her finger right between 2 of my teeth. And she said, it's right between these 2 teeth that you have deterioration, and that's caused by, if you check your gravitational body, there's like a little, it looks like a little metal sliver in there, and you can feel that, the corresponding thing in your gum, you know. And she put her finger on the exact place where my dentist had pointed this to the same spot. And he had x-rayed me, you know, from when I had my dental x-rays, and he said, you see right here, you have like an infection, and bacteria are eating your bone.
Oh, wow.
So he said, your bone is deteriorating. And I could feel that. Some days it was worse than others, you know, and I kept brushing it and doing stuff that helped it and everything. I was just like amazed that she had taken such an interest in me, for one thing, and also, you know, that she was a pretty good student, I thought, to be able to do this. Anyway, but I said, okay, great, and I went into my gravitational body and I erased this. I found that sliver and I erased it, and my mouth immediately felt better. And then I kept, you know, after a time I learned that if I ever felt anything in that spot, I would just check my gravitational body, because my gravitational body kept getting that sliver back. And over the years, I have found it a bunch of times. So, but basically, I saved my bone, and my, you know, my teeth didn't fall out, and I'm okay, you know, because I never allowed it to progress. I would always catch it within a few minutes when it started up and kill it. You know, I just killed it. That's what I was doing. And of course it was that whatever it was that thing was, it was compromising my immune system in that particular spot. And that's how those bacteria got a foothold in there. You see that?
Okay.
So, because your mouth is supposed to fight them off. Like, have you ever noticed that the bacteria, the amount of bacteria in your mouth change depending on the balance of calcium and magnesium in your saliva?
Yes.
Well, that's right. It's because your immune system, that's how your immune system works. It uses minerals and fights off these infections.
Right.
Anyway, also I brush with Dr. Bronner's.
Okay.
I had a dentist who used to put your plaque on a slide and he'd show you your bacteria. And
okay.
I was the only patient he ever had that got my bacteria count to absolute 0.
Wow.
There wasn't
That's impressive.
I know, there wasn't a single microbe in there. It was amazing. I was like blown away myself. But I can't take a bit of credit for it. It was really Dr. Bronner that did it, you know.
Okay.
He's a great man. He's dead now, but he's a very great man.
So why is it the gravitational body that to check? Oh.
It isn't always. Sometimes it's the spiral body. I had a little tea and it went down the wrong way. Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, sometimes it's the spiral body.
Okay.
You know, being on Skype with you is like being in the room with you to me, except unfortunately,
Really?
yeah, but unfortunately you can't slap me on the back if I start choking, you know.
I know. Well, the fact that you're coughing is a good thing. I also have taken CPR, so I know.
That's right.
But I can't do it over Skype.
Right. Well, now, okay, so that's what's missing, and so now, can you tell me, are there any responses, good responses that now feel easier to you now that you've cured those things?
Good responses? I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, you know, there's good responses and bad responses, right?
Yes.
Well, have you got some good responses that are now easy? That you can see are good and that feel like responses you've been wanting to make but that you weren't, but now you can.
I can't think of any right now.
Okay, how about some new behaviors that you can construct now that you've cured these things? Are there any new behaviors that seem like you can construct them? Good new behaviors, or behaviors you've been trying to construct that seem easier to construct now?
I think that I probably can take charge of a project better than I could before. Before I was kind of skittish on taking charge. I just wanted to be the conduit between groups, and I think I can actually take over the whole thing and work with people that way.
So you mean, is that a result of, you know, all the Immunics you've done in the last 9 months, or what you've done tonight, or?
I think it's what I've done tonight, because
okay.
I still was skittish 3 months ago.
So this is very fast. That's the thing that we want to stress. And the problem is people don't notice the results. That's really where the problem comes in.
that's probably from lack of asking questions and sitting back and reflecting, like the Accelerator suggests. You have to stop, stay in the calm, clear place, and just be there. And I think people don't know how to be there. They're too busy going to the next
when you
thing.
tested that.
Right. Like right now, no. But
Precisely, yes. That's right. But maybe since that movie was interfering with you, you could say it again, just so everybody hears it real clearly.
Okay. I was saying that the Accelerator says that we should be in the calm, clear place and just be there. And that's what we're supposed to do. But people have a tendency to get to one place and then jump. They're in such a rush to get to the next place. They don't know or experience what they're supposed to experience. Yeah,
so they're going too fast.
Right. They're too much in a hurry to do the next thing.
Yeah,
they need to stop.
Yeah, the funny thing about the Accelerator is basically what the Accelerator does is it slows you down so that you go faster.
Right.
I was
Which is kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah, I was just talking to a woman, an old friend of mine named Victoria Shue. And she has made a series of terrible mistakes in her life and is now, just really backed into a corner. I haven't talked to her for probably 6 years at least, maybe 8 years, something like that. And she was able to do this. She was doing this 8 years ago, and she just veered off in the wrong direction. And it was because she was very sure of herself, and she just made these decisions without curing anything or removing anything or testing anything. And she just went ahead and did this stuff, and now she's sorry. But the bottom line is, when I was talking to her, now she realizes what she did. And what she needed to do, it's like, basically the Accelerator is sort of like you cure something and you feel better. And you feel like, oh boy, I can do it now, this is great. I'm okay now. And I can do this. I'm great. And so you're ready to go running off, and the Accelerator says, whoa, slow down. Wait a cotton picking minute here, Buster. Now let's just talk about this a minute. Let's test a bunch of questions, and then let's cure another thing and test some more questions, and so on. And as you do that, what you do is you just eliminate all, you take all those things that you thought you could do, and you say, oh, I knew I could do that. I cured something and I felt better and I knew I could do that now. And you just don't do it. You don't do, you drop the thing you were going to do, and then you drop the next thing, and you drop the next thing, and it's sort of like you just leapfrog over everything. And you get to some point way down the line where you wanted to go, and you get there by doing nothing.
Right.
Like it's what you don't do that gets you to the right place in your life. Like, I'm at a good place in my life, and it's because of all the stuff I didn't do.
Okay.
I mean, it's that simple, all the things I passed up and said no to.
that happens a lot, especially these days.
Yeah, and
where you're getting all these offers to do things.
Yeah, and all the things I didn't get involved with and didn't pay any attention to and didn't waste my time with and just said no to and eliminated from my life. All the things I used to do that I liked to do that I stopped doing. Like, for example, I haven't gone to the movies in about 4 years. I watch movies on my big screen TV.
Okay.
And I used to like to go to the beach, but I stopped liking to go to the beach, so I don't go anymore. I have a wonderful wildlife area here, and it's got sand. It's a lot like the beach.
Okay, that'll work.
I mean, the whole state of Florida is sand, so that's what we got.
Bring some up this way.
Yeah, really. We call it candy sand because good stuff grows in it. Okay, so now, are there some things that could interfere with my newfound clarity and my like the feeling of wellness that you have right now? Just test her. There's some things in my life or tendencies, immune dysfunctions I've been running that can interfere with this.
Yes.
And can you say any of them? Can you see what any of them are?
That negative beingness is coming back.
Good. Okay. Very good. What did you get when you tested? Very excellent. So I'll tell you what. Do the lessons on negative beingness.
Okay.
And also keep testing for more things that could interfere or just cause you to veer into the wrong direction.
Okay.
So this has been a really good lesson about the Accelerator and the safety web, and I'm expecting to meet with you again soon and go on to something more advanced. But work on these for a while, work on these for a few days, and stay in touch with me.
I will.
And let me know how you're doing, okay?
Okay.
Also, did you get my request that you join the Cure Drive movement in Facebook?
Did I see it?
No, I guess not, huh?
I don't see it, no.
Okay, well, I'll put something there, but join it, and also friend my friends. You know how to do that?
When I go down the list and say add a friend.
Yes. Okay. Oh, so please get a hold.
I've done that, and I've gotten a response from some of your friends.
Great. Okay, keep going till you've done it with all of them. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I will. I'll get back to you probably. Within a day or so, or you get back to me. Just call me anytime and leave me a report and let me know how you're doing.
Okay. Great.
Because if I don't answer, just leave me a message.
I will do that.
Yeah. I just want to say that I am impressed with you.
Really?
Yeah.
And what impresses you?
You're a good student, for one thing.
Lots of practice.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one thing that impresses me, and you've accomplished some, and you've cured some, and you're better, and you're you're obviously driving the MS back, and
I never let it get too far.
No, that's true. Now I want you to find that woman, Shoshana, who, and see, she was the moderator of the group that you found. I don't know if that group still exists, but I know Shoshana's still around. I got something from her a couple months ago. So so there are emails in the Cure Drive from her, and I want you to. She is the only person I know who has actually cured MS.
Okay.
So you really do need to talk to her, because that's the person you want to talk to, is somebody who walked the path, somebody who actually already did it.
Right.
Okay?
Do you know what type of MS she had?
No, but I think it was the bad kind.
All of them are the bad kind.
No, I think this was the really bad lethal.
The worst one is the one that I have, which is primary progressive.
Well, I think you better get in touch with her and ask her, okay? And when you do get in touch with her, tell her I want to get on Skype with her, okay?
Okay.
All right, I want you to find her for me as well as for yourself.
Okay.
And tell her
I
to...
will be on the hunt.
Yes, okay. All right, well, hope to hear from you soon. I'll talk to you later. You have a good evening.
Okay, you too.
Yeah, it's great being with you.
It's great being with you too.
Okay, bye.
I love all your videos and your audios too.
Hey, thanks. All right. I got a fan here. My fan club is here. See you later. Area code 813-672-3419.